Hello and welcome to another demo, this time on Ansible templates and JINJA2. We're going to show you how to set up Ansible managed variable, which lets people know that your file you're managing is managed by Ansible. We're going to do some simple examples of using Ansible facts inside a template. We're going to use Playbook variables in some templates, show how that's used. We're going to put an if-else conditional in for different outputs, and we're going to use we're going to create like an etc host file using the JINJA2 template from all the hosts in the group names. Always remember documentation. Here's the link. I'll put it all in the comment section, and it's always worth looking up all the Ansible documentation. It's very good. So I already have an inventory.ini. Let's have a quick look. So it's just in here for me. So I'm looking at localhost, a CentOS, Ubuntu server. I set up some individual variables, and then I've got my key in there as well. Your inventory will be set up different to mine. That's just to give you an example. First thing we're going to do is create the ansible.cfg file, and all we're going to put in here is we're going to do defaults, and then we're going to have the Ansible manage section, and then we're going to say what it is. So basically, don't edit this file. It's managed by Ansible. And then next is the template.yaml. So this is the brains. This is what we're going to be running in a minute as our playbook. So it's quite a simple setup. I'll just write this out now. We're going to run it on all our hosts. You can individually run it on different groups within your inventory, but I'm going to run it on everything just because it will give us more output. Using the template module, and I'm about to create a file called example.j2. Doesn't have to be that, but it's good to get into a naming convention so you can easily identify what files do. And we're going to call it, we're going to put it in temp result.txt, and we'll keep coming back to check that file. So that is it initially. So we've done the Ansible managed, we've written a template that will run it, and now we're just going to create our example.j2 with the simple Ansible managed variable, and then we're going to run Ansible. Okay, here we go. It's the same as always, Ansible-playbook, then your inventory, and then the playbook that you want to run. Don't worry about those dependencies there, that's just something else I was working on, but it doesn't affect the demo. Okay, so if we now cat the temp result.txt file, if I can spell it right, there we go, we can see that we now have a file that is managed by Ansible. So if anyone wants to edit that file, they go, oh, hang on a minute, let me just double check. I better not change anything because Ansible might come along and put it straight back. So the next one we're going to do is look at various Ansible facts that we collect about servers that we run on them. When you run gather facts. And we're going to use Ansible hostname. We're going to use the IP address, and we're also going to use the Ansible OS family. So these are available on everything. There's a big list of them. Let's write that one out. And then the operating system. And this is Ansible_OS_family. Okay, put in a couple of spaces. Let's save this, run this now. So now we'll see some of those variables appear in the results.txt file. So this could be any file on any server. It could be configuration file. It doesn't matter. We'll use these variables. So if I SSH onto one of my servers, Ubuntu 1, and cat the exact file, we're actually updating the same file on those servers too. So you can see there's different information in there. See, that's Debian because it's a Ubuntu server. So yeah, works across OSs. So now let's get on with the next one. So this time, I think we're going to use a playbook variable. So what we do is we'll put the variable in here. So it's going to write out playbook variable, and then in the brackets is going to be var1. And then I'm just going to incorporate var1 into the template. So we just add it at the top under hosts. So we do vars, and then enter down, and then we're just going to simply add in the variable 1 and then what that value equals. So var1 and then just hello world. Could be anything. So save that, run it. Oh, let's just double check. Yeah, so that looks good. Let's run that. There it is. Okay, templates updated, so let's have another look. Just tab up a few, there we go. So now we've got the variable hello world. So this is all done via the template and the JINJA2 file. Okay, so let's move on. So this time, let's do a conditional. So first of all, we'll collect the Ansible mem total underscore MB. And then I think we'll just double check we can get that. And once we get that, we'll then use like an if conditional to tell us to set up. Basically, if memory is of a certain size, then print out a message. And if it isn't, print out a different message. So it's quite a good way of just understanding how you can get quite clever. There we go. So total memory is 967 meg. Very low memory machines. So now we're going to do some if conditionals. So I'm just going to write this out. You can always use equals equals as well if you want it to equal something. I've gone for greater than 100 just to test it out. So we'll get it working at this greater than 100 because we know it's greater than 100, then we'll change it and we'll see it flip to from large to small. Save that again and run that. As long as I've got it right, it should work okay. Yes, let's check the file. There it is, the memory's large. And we know that because we only said, is it larger than 100? If it is, it's large. So now let's change this, add a 0. So now it's 1000. We know that it won't be bigger, so it should flip down and say memory is small. Let's run again. Oops, it changed. Memory is small. So there we go. So now we can use conditionals. You know, very basic version, but it will actually give you quite a lot of extra scope in your templates to control what happens in certain conditions. So now we're going to create an etc host file type entry. So we've got some more JINJA2 stuff. This time we're going to look at the host groups, and this time we're going to select all. So this is everything in the inventory. You can specify maybe just DB servers or Ubuntu servers, depending on how you've grouped up your inventory. We're going to do everything because we just get a bit more output. So this line's a bit of a long line because we're going and getting the individual IPv4 IP address, and then we're getting the host name. And it's all on one line. It looks a bit long, but it's just the way it has to be, unfortunately. So we're going in and getting the default IP address. And then we open that back up again. We start another one, and this time it's going to be for the host name. Now, they're not going to be very interesting host names because I'm in AWS. It'll just be IP something something. But if it was one of your servers on a different, a different cloud or your own servers, it would probably have a much more relevant name. Okay, so that looks good. Just close that off. Okay, right, we're just running that. Now that's hit an issue. Let me just double check. Yes, I see what I've done. I missed the 4 off the beginning. So let's do that. Okay, rerun. And let's check the file. And there it is. So it's actually gone through the host list and it's pulled out all the IP addresses and the host names. So we've created a file. We've created etc hosts, straight from the servers that are in the inventory. So that's pretty clever. And if we check the remote servers, we can see that we've got the same file on there with the same output. So it works across servers. So this is pretty good stuff. Just these few simple template, sort of how to use template and JINJA2 will give you a lot of options in how you use and manipulate your files. So this is good. So yeah. Let me just check one more server. Not that. That's the one. And change the CentOS. This is just to check the other server. So ECT user, and then again it's the same. So we've added Ansible managed to our file. We've set up some simple facts. We added a playbook variable. We use that in the template. We created an if else condition. We created an etc host like file. Look at the documentation. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.